The Stories of Craexus. Volume 1. The Night of the Gurunk.
The smell of decay, sweet and cloying, assaulted Amara. She wrinkled her nose, the moonlight glinting off the polished surface of her moonstone-hilted longsword. Beside her, a low growl rumbled from Kael's massive chest, a counterpoint to the rasping breaths echoing from the cavern ahead. Eerie moonlight filtered through the ancient trees, casting an unsettling glow on the moss-covered stones that marked the Gurunk's lair. Amara, her hair like twilight cascading down her back, tightened her grip on her weapon. Kael, a hulking silhouette with a grizzly bear's head, etched with the gruff kindness of countless battles, traced intricate patterns in the air with a claw. The emerald gem on Amara's sword pulsed with an inner light as she adjusted her stance. Years of honed reflexes flickered in her emerald eyes, a stark contrast to the deep brown that shone with intelligence from beneath Kael's brow. They were an unlikely pair, the swift blade and the primal magic, united against a common foe. Whispers on the wind had carried tales of a Gurunk awakened by a greedy baron's mining operation, threatening to devastate a nearby village. The villagers, simple folk, had pooled their meager savings to hire these misfits, their only hope. A monstrous bellow erupted from the cave, shaking the very ground beneath their feet. Amara stood firm, a sentinel rooted to the ancient forest floor. Kael slammed his staff, imbued with raw earth magic, into the ground with a resounding thump. A shimmering dome of emerald light erupted around them, a temporary shield against the creature's wrath. The Gurunk lumbered out, its fetid stench a physical assault. Its obsidian skin, marred by a patchwork of scars, spoke of past battles and its monstrous resilience. With surprising agility, Amara darted around the dome's edge. Her blade sang a deadly song as it sliced through the air. She aimed for a vulnerable spot. The Gurunk, slow-witted but thick-skinned, swung a massive arm at her first, the air whistling as it passed. Amara ducked with preternatural reflexes, the wind whipping her hair into a frenzy. Kael, their strategist, slammed his paw on the ground once more, a guttural incantation ripping from his throat. The earth responded. Thick, gnarled roots erupting from the ground like grasping fingers. They coiled around the Gurunk's legs, momentarily hindering its stride. With a frustrated bellow, the beast tore at the roots, its immense strength slowly ripping them apart. Amara seized the opening. She weaved through the thrashing limbs, a blur of silver and green. Her blade found a chink in the creature's armor, carving a deep gash across its chest. The wound gaped open, but a sickly green luminescence pulsed within, slowly knitting the flesh back together. Frustration flared in Amara's eyes. This creature was unlike any they'd faced before. A silent exchange passed between her and Kael. He met her gaze, understanding dawning in his intelligent bare eyes. Amara slashed again but missed the trashing creature entirely. With a roar that shook the trees themselves, Kael slammed his other paw onto the ground. The earth around the enemy shimmered, cracks appearing on the surface like a spiderweb. With a final, earth-shattering roar, Kael unleashed his most potent spell, Earthen Prison. The ground beneath the Gurunk heaved, rising into jagged stone walls that surrounded the beast from neck to toe. The creature roared in fury, its struggle sending tremors through the makeshift prison. Amara knew this wouldn't hold for long. The Gurunk's regenerative powers have proven to be formidable. The distraction and containment stage was complete. Now is the time for the final blow. A large shadow, fleeting and dark, soared through the moonlight. A flash of gleaming metal followed, a strike that was fast, precise, strong. It cleaved cleanly through the Gurunk's neck, but the head remained stubbornly attached. The Gurunk roared in fury as its regenerative powers kicked in, fusing the head back to its body with confounding speed.
The heart, you fool!
Amara bellowed, her voice laced with desperation.
You should have gone for the heart, Dremsey.
The Gurunk's enraged roars reached a crescendo. With a final, earth-shaking tremor, it shattered the earthen prison. Amara, thrown off balance, stumbled towards the beast's gaping maw. Time seemed to slow down. But Kael wouldn't let her fall. In a burst of unexpected speed, he lunged forward, his massive paw reaching out and grabbing her midair. He pulled her back just as the Gurunk's massive jaws snapped shut, missing her by a hair's breadth. Amara landed hard on the ground, the wind knocked out of her. She looked up to see Kael facing the creature, his bear-like ferocity on full display. He roared again, a primal challenge that echoed through the night. This time, the earth didn't just rise, it erupted. Jagged rock spikes shot up from the ground like monstrous thorns, piercing the Gurunk's thick hide. The beast roared in pain, its regeneration overwhelmed by the sheer number of wounds. Dremsey, a large Onhee warrior, saw his best chance. With an eerie battle cry, he launched himself at the Gurunk. The beast, distracted by Kael's assault, was momentarily vulnerable. Dremsey propelled himself in a blur, but the Gurunk was a creature of immense strength. As the Onhee lunged, the beast swung its left arm with enough force to smash a boulder. The blow connected, sending him flying through the air. Amara scrambled to her feet, adrenaline coursing through her veins. The Gurunk's enraged roar filled the air as it turned its attention back to her. Ignoring the throbbing pain in her chest, she lunged forward, aiming for the creature's injured thigh. Her blade found its mark, severing muscle and sinew with a sickening crunch. The Gurunk roared again, a sound of mingled pain and fury. The surprise attack, coupled with the rock spikes digging into its flesh, momentarily destabilized the beast. Dremsey, having shaken off the impact of the blow, saw his chance. He scrambled to his feet and with a renewed battle cry, charged once more. This time, he reached the Gurunk before it could react. With a powerful leap, Dremsey propelled himself onto the Gurunk's back, his claws finding purchase on the obsidian hide. He scrambled up the creature's back, ignoring its thrashing attempts to dislodge him. Finally, with a snarl, he reached the base of the Gurunk's neck. Amara watched, heart pounding in her chest, as Dremsey reached into a pouch strapped to his waist and pulled out a strange, glowing vial. He smashed the vial against the Gurunk's neck, a shower of purple liquid erupting onto the creature's exposed flesh. The Gurunk shrieked, a sound unlike any Amara had ever heard. It writhed and convulsed, the sickly green glow emanating from its wounds sputter and die. The effect was instantaneous. The Gurunk's thrashing slowed, its massive body shuddering. A moment later, it went completely still. A hush fell over the clearing, broken only by the ragged gasps of Amara, Kael, and Dremsey. Slowly, cautiously, Amara approached the Gurunk. The creature lay motionless, its obsidian hide now a sickly gray. She raised her sword, its tip hovering over the beast's chest. With a deep breath, she plunged the blade down, burying it deep into the now rocky flesh. There was no response. The Gurunk was dead. Amara slumped against the jagged remains of the earthen prison, chest heaving. Relief washed over her, so intense it felt like a physical wave. Kael lumbered towards her, his massive form radiating relief. Dremsey stood atop the creature, a semblance of a smile reflected on his monstrous face.
Good work, Amara.
Kael rumbled, his voice gruff but gentle.
We did it.
Amara offered a weak smile.
Together,
She rasped, exhaustion claiming her.
Together.
Dremsey echoed, a hint of camaraderie in his gravelly voice.
But next time,
He added, his red eyes flickering towards Kael.
I will not hide in the shadows like some cowardly whelp.
Okay, fine. Not your style, buddy.
Kael agreed.
But still a pretty good plan, right?
Kael chuckled, a deep, rumbling sound that echoed through the now silent forest. He carefully hoisted Amara onto his back, his body fur surprisingly soft against her cheek. Dremsey, with a grunt of effort, severed the Gurunk's head with a single, brutal swipe of his blade. He tucked the head beneath his arm, a gruesome trophy, before rejoining them. As they walked back into the village, the first rays of dawn painting the sky in hues of gold and pink, Amara silently appreciated their bond forged in battle, a friendship solidified by facing death together again and again. An elfin girl, an anthro bear with brawny human legs, and a monster-looking samurai warrior from the Sunderlands. What a strange, wonderful world we live in, she mused as she fell asleep on Kael's back. They soon emerged from the forest into the warm embrace of the rising sun. The villagers, who had waited with bated breath from the safety of their homes, erupted in cheers. A young boy, clutching a wooden sword, ran up to Amara and Kael, his eyes wide with awe.
"You're heroes,"
he exclaimed, his gaze, however, lingering cautiously on Dremsey. Kael knelt, a gentle gesture that belied his size.
We all did our part, little one.
He said in a voice roughened by years of chanting ancient spells. The man-bear was soon surrounded by the other children, their voices shrill with wonder and excitement. After collecting their reward and a hearty breakfast of thanks from the grateful villagers, the adventurers bid farewell to the village. As they walked away, the sun brightening the sky in fiery colors, a comfortable silence settled between them. Amara glanced at Kael, the warmth of the sun catching the glint of amusement in his ursine eyes.
Perhaps,
She said with a hint of a smirk.
there's another Gurunk that needs slaying somewhere. What do you say?
Kael grinned, a wide toothy grin that stretched across his face.
Only if Dremsey agrees to my strategy again.
No way in the Thunder Hells.
Dremsey retorted, his face stiff as his posture.
We are doing it the Onhee's way next time.
And so, the unlikely trio, the elfin warrior, the anthro mage, and the monster samurai, continued their journey, a testament to the power of unlikely friendships and the enduring appeal of a good adventure. The grateful villagers were a mere footnote compared to the silent understanding that now passed between them. They were Amara, Kael, and Dremsey, vanquishers of the Gurunk, and their story had just begun.
Embark on a heart-pounding adventure with an unlikely fellowship. Dremsey Taoramaga, a stoic Onhee warrior, finds his loyalty tested when a monstrous threat engulfs his homeland. On the brink of defeat, he's saved by a curious duo, Amara Argentstar, an Elfhin warrior whispered to be a child of fate and prophecy, and Kael Arckitos, a bearman from the distant land of the Anthros. Together, this unlikely fellowship embarks on a quest that will take them beyond treacherous places, where ferocious beasts and nightmarish creatures lurk. Their journey will forge new alliances, test their courage, and unravel ancient secrets that could change the fate of the lands. Join Dremsey, Amara, and Kael as they face thrilling battles, test the scales of fates, forge unlikely bonds, and fight for a future brighter than even the stars. Will Amara fulfill her destiny? Will Kael overcome his tragic secrets? Can Dremsey live up to the tenets of his honor? Is their fellowship the one destined to overcome the darkness that threatens the world? Subscribe to hear this story unfold. The World of Craexus, a tabletop role-playing game. The rules and game manuals along with the storybooks are available at drivethrurpg.com.